Hello. Hey, everybody. A very, very good afternoon to everybody. Hi. Kaiman, nice to have you. Good afternoon. Those of you who can hear us loud and clear, you can see us, give us a hey, give us a good afternoon, give us a hi. We hope that you're doing really, really well. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Ching Ing Ming, thank you for raising your hand so we can see all of this stuff as we go along. All right. So Jaslyn, hi, nice to have you here. All right, gang. So give us a bit of a shout out. TS Chin, very good afternoon to you. Yes, yes, yes. All right, everybody. We're going to rock and roll. And I think today we have a very, very powerful segment. I hope you are ready for what is in store through this topic called enabling business profitability through productivity measurements, brought to you by Malaysia Productivity Corporation, MEPN Machinery and Equipment Productivity Nexus, as well as Machinery and Engineering Industries Federation, MEIF, and last but not least, SAMENTA. All right, so as we get into it, we have two powerful speakers today, but what I'm going to do is allow me to introduce myself. All right, so next slide, please. Hi, everybody. My name is Maresa. I'll be your moderator and your host today. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to ask any of us here today, myself, Mr. Yoong and Mr. Ng, I'll be happy to moderate. Now, my name is Maresa. I'm the chairman of Community Engagement and Development of SAMENTA Central. Some of you know me, and I'm very, very happy to see familiar names as well. So hello back to you. I'm also the MEPN advisor, which we will share with you very, very shortly. This is a very powerful program that we are launching. And stay tuned to the end because we have some really powerful news to share with you. And professionally, I'm also the CEO and founder of the Spark Group Asia. We're the leading leadership and executive business coaching company in Asia. We have teams in Malaysia, Singapore, and Vietnam. So we're very happy today to bring to you a very powerful topic. Yeah. So if I can go to the next slide. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to rock and roll? All right. So today's topic is a really interesting one because I have to say it is one of numbers, all right? Numbers, and when it comes to looking at the figures and the financials, many people shy away, all right? So they shy away, but today, I want you to lean into the numbers because when you look at the numbers, therein lie all your gems, your profitability. And today we're going to hear speakers show you that sitting in the cracks of your business, that if we don't read the numbers, we will never discover this. And there we are, we're running out there for more sales, more revenue, more sales, more revenue. But the bigger question is, how is our revenue going to work hard for us to generate profitability? Does that make sense? So how do we do that? Okay, so if I can, today's session is very powerful because most business owners and entrepreneurs, yeah? How many of you here are business owners? Say yeah. And how many of you are here because you are one of the management teams of whether manufacturing companies, service-oriented companies, that's all right. If you are here because you want to understand the numbers, you are in the right place. Because most businesses, business owners, and management teams, thank you, Kaiman, thank you, Nicole. Most of us know our trade very well. Any of you are in machinery, any of you are in maintenance services, any of you are in furniture, or you're in food, whatever you manufacture and you produce, rest assured, you are pretty good at it. You know your numbers, right? The challenge with that is, do we know our productivity numbers? So we know our trade well, but do we know the most critical numbers that determine our success? And this is where I think what Mr. Yoong and Mr. Ng are going to share with you today that is mind-blowing. Yeah, so take a look at the itinerary. I'm going to go through that very shortly. It's mind-blowing because if I were to ask any of you right now, what is the most important number in your business? Most critical number. What are you guys going to say? Guys, type it in. What is the most important figure in my business? Can you guys type it in, please? No right and wrong. Thank you, Faiz. Revenue per employee. Sneak peek. Has been to our workshops before, I think. Anyone else? Thank you, Zul. Finance. Finance. What number in finance? What is the most important number in your business? Profit. Thank you, Shazwani. Love it. Hamizan. Good. Nicole. Good. Profitability. Love it. And this is the thing. When you measure profitability, we are measuring the outcome. That means when I get the outcome, sama ada profit ke loss, P and L, P or L, profit or loss, I cannot do anything about it. Does that make sense? Kaiman, cash conversion cycle. Okay, you gotta wait. Okay, Kaiman knows something about our topic today. All right. Okay. Now, if I can, profitability happens to be an outcome. When you get that number, you can't do anything about it. So what is important? What is the critical number? And I think some of you have said it, is productivity numbers. Because with productivity, I can ensure profitability. So which one is more important? To know it after the fact or to know what influenced my profits? Okay. So today's itinerary, I've given you a powerful context to it. All of you are here to learn about your business. So at 3:10, I'm going to bring on board a subject matter expert, Mr. Yoong Kee Sin, who is from the M&E Machinery and Equipment Productivity Nexus, MEPN. He is also an exco with MEIF, and he comes from a wealth of insight and knowledge that I think all of us need to be ready to learn from him. All right. Next up is at 3:20 will be the CEO's journey. Look, we have actually heard from all of you. Many of you say, actually, we need to have practical. We need real stories, real case studies. So if you are ready today, we have a very successful entrepreneur. Of course, he's still in his right transforming. He's still doing the work on his business, but he's now ready to share with you part of his business transformation that he began all the way out in 2015, and he's seeing the fruits today, and he's going to share the fruits with you today, those numbers. All right, so guys, please take all your notebooks out and get ready to write it down, and please ask Mr. Ng and Mr. Yoong plenty of questions, because they are not here today for MPC or for whoever, for SAMENTA or what. They are here for you. Does that make sense? Yes, thank you, Kaiman. Real stories are always inspiring because that's how they did it and that's what they got, okay? And then right at the end, don't go anywhere. We will unleash a very powerful program that all of you here can capitalize by end of today. Like, do not miss, okay? So let us roll out today's agenda, okay? Now, before we go into today's the agenda is okay. We'll go to the next part. Thank you, Rahman. We also know that there are a lot of challenges in getting the numbers. So how many of you here, you know you need the productivity numbers in your business? Tahu. That means if I say, hey, you need to be more productive with your business. Semua orang akan cakap, tahu, betul juga. Yes, I know. However, what is in the way? So this is very important. And this is what we want to do to release a poll. Okay, so for 1 minute, can I get your help in the back end, Rahman? Guys, what are the challenges that get in the way of being more productive as a business to generate more performance? Please choose one. I know some of you want to click more than one. But click the most important one. If you have that solved, you think you can be productive also. Okay. All right, guys. Please participate because you will be able to see everybody's answer. Wow. Keep it coming, gang. Keep it coming. Well done, gang. Well done. Oh, We have some answers in the lead. Keep it coming, gang. Very good. Okay, we'll give it another 30 seconds, another 30 saat. Some of us are thinking very hard. That's all right. Okay, keep it coming. Another 10 seconds and we'll close the poll. Another 10 seconds. Wow. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. If you can just pay attention to the screen, we have a few leading answers. All right, gang? We have a few leading answers. Some of the top challenges, and I think this is very useful for us at Malaysia Productivity Corporation and also for us at MEVAC. This is very, very important. But thank you for weighing in. Top challenge is a lack of staff skill, competency, and ability. Okay, so guys, peel in. Now we're hearing you. So that's top of the list, yeah? Number 2, and I think it is a tie. Number 2 is lack of management knowledge, which is why this session is very important for all of you today, yeah? And insufficient time, too busy with daily operation. Okay, so this is true. This is true because in order for us to be productive, we must first analyze. We must know the numbers in our business, then we must step back and look at the strategy. We can't just peel out the numbers. So this is at a tie. Thank you for those of you who chime in. The third one is 12%, at a lack of clear clarity or direction in growing the business. Thank you. So if it is a roadmap that you're looking at, my business model needs shifting. Kudos to you and congratulations, because we're about to give you that way out by end of today. All right. Thank you very much. Wow. Well done, you guys. Well done. Well done. Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, without further ado, okay. Without further ado, okay. How many of you are excited? Oops. Okay. How many of you are excited for our first speaker today? Say yeah. Okay, if you are. Today, I want to bring you someone very, very special. I've had the privilege of learning from him and all his insight and experience. Thank you, Zulkifli. Yeah. Today's topic on enhancing business profitability through productivity measurements will be delivered by Mr. Yoong Kee Sin. So while Mr. Yoong prepares to come on, yeah, and let's all warmly welcome Mr. Yoong. A quick introduction. So Mr. Yoong has 30 years of experience in mechanical engineering and business development. He's a professional engineer with a bachelor's degree in engineering, mechanical engineering. He is also a past advisor to Sime Darby Industrial Asia. He is also a committee member in the Machinery and Engineering Industries Federation. So he's done a lot of work with manufacturing and engineering companies, and also a subject matter expert with M&E Productivity Nexus, MEPN, and also on the board of MEVAC. So everybody, the warmest welcome you can all offer to Mr. Yoong.
Thank you very much, Marisa. I hope everyone is able to hear me okay. Good. And thank you for that introduction. I think that, yes, enhancing the business profitability, I hope that by after today's session, we will get a bit of an idea as what the thing is all about and how do we go about it. Can I have the next slides, please? Okay, hi Zul, thanks for the welcome. And I will do a little bit of an introduction because just now we have a lot of alphabet soup. We have MEPN, MEIF, what are those? So I will just do a quick explanation. First, MEPN. MEPN stands for the Machinery and Equipment Productivity Nexus. Now, this is actually one of the 9 nexuses, I believe, that was set up, by the government. 2018 actually, following a study done, on the nation's productivity, within all sector. And basically, we all know that the country is facing competitions. We have got newcomers, that are giving us a run for the money, such as Indonesia, Vietnam and Sri Lanka and those countries, not to mention our neighbor in Singapore. Okay, so in order to uplift the productivity of the nation, we set up this productivity nexus. Now, the main difference is this. The productivity nexus are actually being headed by industry people rather than for government people. Okay, and the government agency that is responsible to coordinate this is Malaysia Productivity Corporation. And what we do here is that we look at what are the issues that are affecting the industry, and specifically to the productivity, and how do we actually improve, assist industries and assist industries and enterprises to improve. So that is actually the Machinery and Equipment Productivity Nexus, MEPN. Now, all these programs are being coordinated through a federation of various M&E associations. And this federation is called Machinery and Engineering Industry Federation, MEIF for short. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you see that, there are 9 associations, including SAMENTA, and we have got the automation, we have got the electronic and electrical, we have got the various SMEs, and also, university within this federation. So we basically get together to try to put our resources together to get a good insight to what the industry is facing and what do we do. Next, please. Okay, what do we do in the MEPN, in the Productivity Nexus? The Nexus champion, Mr. Mek Poon, he came from, he is also the president of Muhibah Engineering Berhad. Okay, he's nominated by the Prime Minister to help to spear the M&E sector. And under the Nexus, we focus on 4 core issues that, based on the feedback that we have obtained from all the members, like talent, manpower, is a common issue, reliance on foreign labor, and low productivity and efficiency, how do we go about that? And also, how do we actually leverage and empower our SME, to get the most out of our SME, because they make up such a large part of our enterprises within the country. Last but not least, we wanted to tackle the not so popular item, which is government bureaucracy, difficulty, some of the processes are very onerous, some miscommunication and so on. So that is basically what we call the ecosystem. So we have work groups that are dedicated towards all these matters, so that, and we work with various government agencies such as MITI, EPU, MATRADE, MIDA, CILIM, and so on. So as you can see, this is an effort that we try to get all parties together to solve the problem for Malaysia, in terms of productivity specifically. So that's the background. I will move on to the topic. Next, please, Raman. Okay. All right. Just now, we heard from Maresa in her introduction, and I think that based on the feedback that most of you have also given, in business, what is important? Of course, profit is one of the main motivation and the main objective of any businesses. For businesses, of course, it cannot just exist on its own. For business, you need to have something that you are offering to some customers. You need to have your infrastructure, your office, and so on and so forth. You're using resources, and the end result is that, you get some revenue, you tie up some money, and then to satisfy your customer. This is what the business is all about. You all know that because we are all in business at this point in time. And as Maresa mentioned, the most common or the most sought after goal is actually to achieve profit. But as Maresa also pointed out earlier on, the profit itself is actually something that comes as a result of doing business. Next slide, please, Raman. Okay, for profit is something that we all know that is what is left over after you spend all your expenses and all those things, pay all your bills and stuff like that. However, what is the characteristics of profit? Profit is only measured after the fact, after a certain period of time, whether it is at the end of the month, at the end of the year, at the end of the day, whatever, it is something that already happened. You can't change the outcome. It is an outcome, it is already done. It is past tense. Okay. And there's nothing you can do to change the past. All you can do is to change what is going forward. Next slide, please. What I'd like to mention here is profitability, is important. What you can do about your business. How do you make your business that can generate more effective or more efficient in generating profit? That is actually called profitability. As you can look at it, from the slides, it is actually your ability to generate the profit. And productivity is directly tied in with your profitability. And you can see the picture, this is a generic picture, that you see in most places. It's they call it the iceberg diagram. What you can see, is usually only part of what actually makes up the total picture. A lot of what is of these factors are hidden. And when you are trying to manage a business or manage any event, okay, if you are not aware of what are the problems, or if you are not aware of some of the factors, it's actually very difficult to do something about it. Okay, it is hard to act on any issues if you are not aware of it, or if you don't have a clear visibility of these things here. And this is really where measurement helps, and this is really the main reason for having this talk, which is how do we do the measurement? Why do we do the measurement? Next, please. Well, as we all know, I think that most of us are drivers. I'm sure that you don't like to drive a car with a very dirty windscreen as what you see on your right-hand side here. With a dirty windscreen, a lot of things are hidden from your view. It's actually very hard to get the visibility. It's very hard to see very far, and it's very hard to pick up details. Whereas the pictures on the bottom, with the clear windscreen, we all like to drive like that, to have a clear windscreen. Okay. And what I'm trying to say here is the better visibility and to your result or to your factors will lead to better decision. It allows you to make decisions. And now these are things you can do about in the future before it happens. So if you do a good job in making those changes, in managing those changes, hopefully the result will be a bigger profit or bigger profitability. Okay. So that is really the distinction between, I just like to draw the distinction between profit, which is the past, okay, and profitability, which is something that you can do about. In fact, just now in the poll, I noticed that a common comment is that we are too busy tackling operational issues. Now, operational issues, putting out fire, attending to fire, Now, some of these things here, we ask ourselves a question: why are these things cropping up? And hopefully, by getting better visibility through measurement of a business, hopefully what that will do is that it will give you a better chance in managing the business before it becomes an emergency. Okay. And so I'll move on to the next slide. Thank you. Why do we measure? I think that we all heard this before. What cannot be measured cannot be improved. Okay. And what cannot be defined cannot be measured. What cannot be measured cannot be improved. And so basically, it end up with what I call a dog chasing his own tail. You're just going round and round and round, getting tired, putting out fire. Okay, so the idea with measurement is hopefully it will give you a better visualization, a better appreciation of where the problems are, what the priorities are, and then you start to tackle some of this type of issue. And as we all know in business, business takes resources. The resources typically, is made up of man, your method, your material, or your machines, and your money. All these need to be managed, because any one of these, when you have problems or if you have an issue with that, that's where you actually need to attend to it and put it out as fire. Okay, so basically, better productivity will come from better visibility as to what are the priority, what are the problems that you need to tackle. And each of these resources that you are using for your business, which is what I call input, if you can get better result from this, that automatically means you got higher productivity. Okay, and higher productivity has a direct relationship with your profitability. So your company's ability to generate profit is enhanced. And the end result would be a bigger profit at the end of the day. So this is really the reason behind these things here. Move on next, please. Now, this is a little bit of, stating the obvious. How do we, with the measurement and so on, what does it give us? Measurement generate information. They generate data, and with the data, by looking at the data, by analyzing the data, it gives you information. And with the information, then you can start to see what you can, what needs doing. And in any business, what is important to us is the value that you are able to add to the business, because you take your revenue, you minus off what you pay other people to buy, whether it's service or goods, is the added value that your company generates, which is your added value. Now, from that added value, you need to pay for your company's labor costs, your depreciation, interest, and so on and so forth. Only after you pay for all those, then you end up with the profit, which you can keep. Okay. And just now, one of the participants, I apologize for forgetting your name. You mentioned cash to cash cycle. That actually is a very, very pertinent point. You're making the money work harder for you. Okay. And the cash conversion cycle means that, you're trying to get more output from the same dollar. Okay. And it is important in most business, because that is actually cash flow is actually the lifeblood of any business. Okay. And so how do you manage the better cash conversion cycle? And later we will hear more stories about this, but managing that well means that, you would actually end up with a bigger profit at the end of the day. All right. So next, please. Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. Okay. Now, what do we measure? How do we measure? And a lot of the time, we say that, yeah, I measure I have account, I measure my profit, at the end of the day, that's my financial measurement. Yes, agreed, that is important. However, are you measuring things that are actually in tune with the time? Because, a lot of our businesses are set up several years ago, some are even 30, 40 years ago. If you look at the analogy of driving, okay, and in the 1950s, you see the policeman with his shot there, the traffic is like that. And at that time, the dashboard, you need one speedometer, that is enough to tell you to navigate your business, to navigate the traffic. But today, we are in the world where we have highway, we have many traffics and so on and so forth. So you end up with cars, with digital maps, with the self-driving capability and so on and so forth, very sophisticated dashboard. What I'm trying to say here is, when we take our measurement, when the business develop and as time develop, we need to have a clear dashboard to get us information that are informative, that are up to date, that actually help our decision making and to keep up with the change of times, you know. So that is really the message for us. I think that we need to actually, our measurement should commensurate with the type of business that we are in. All right, next please. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, now what does the dashboard for a business, what should it include? What should be on the dashboard of our business, typically in today, in the fast-growing business? You know, one of the things that we hear about businesses is, oh, sustainability, we must have sustainability. We want to sustain our business. To do the to achieve a sustainable business, you need to be able to maintain profitability. You need to be able to maintain growth. You need to be able to maintain productivity. And of course, you need to be efficient. So I would suggest that for a business, when you do a dashboard for your business to measure your business, you need to measure these 4 dials, if you like, you know, these 4 sets of information. Okay. And if you manage this, I think that then you'll find that overall you get better profit at the end of the day. Next, please. Okay. Now, I'd just like to dwell for a little while. What I'm showing here is some of the measurements, some of the output that we get from measurement in the business, typically in the business. And what does that tell you? Okay, I've got 2 sets of graph here. One set on the left-hand side is a company, you know, is a company that shows, you know, good profitability. They are able to make profit well. And on the right-hand side, it is a result of a company that is showing not so good profitability. In fact, if you look at the vertical bar, you know, that represents the profit, the sales rather. You know, as you can see from the left-hand side, this company, obviously their sales is growing quite steadily, you know, following a growth path. Whereas on the company that's not doing so well, the company's revenue is actually decreasing. Now, why is that? Now, that is actually the next question that will come up from measurement. Measurement will suggest to you that, okay, then we need to tackle that problem, right? And the other thing is, apart from just revenue, if you look at gross profit, which in a way is sort of depending on the value add that your company is delivering, you can see on the left-hand side, it is actually growing quite nicely. Overall, it's a growing trend. But if you look at the one on your right-hand side, the profitability of the company is actually stagnant. It's actually not moving up, you know. It is also fluctuating. But more importantly, their operating profit, you know, is actually showing a gradual declining trend. Now, what it means is that if that trend continues, the business becomes not viable. So this is an example of the dashboard that can show, you know, in terms of the profitability. Remember just now my earlier slide shows that their profitability, growth, and so on. This particular graph is showing you, is a dashboard that shows you historically your profitability and also the growth of the company. Okay. Thank you for the question. What is the operating profit ratio? The operating profit ratio is actually your gross profit minus of your operating cost of the business. If you like, some company call it a net profit, you know. So that is actually the, I hope that answered the question. All right. We move on to the next slides, please. Okay. Just now we talked about profitability. Remember, those are one of the things on the dashboard. The other one is productivity. If you look at the left-hand side slide, a graph, it shows you a company, you know, I like to draw your attention to that value added per worker, you know, which is the brown vertical bar. That is the value add created by your company per worker. And you can see on the left-hand graph, it is actually quite steady, quite well. It means that your worker is actually doing generating the necessary result for you. Whereas if you look at the right-hand side graph, you find that the value add per worker is actually declining. Now, that means that the productivity of the company is dropping. And you can see that that directly relates back to the profitability of the company. You have the worker, but they're generating less wealth for you from the business. Okay, so this is typically a sort of a dashboard that you can find. I won't go into very detail, but generally these are what you can get from the measurement. And if you do have some questions, do register them. We'll try to answer them later. I'll move on to the next chart, please. Okay, that's all I have to present in terms of the measurement. I hope that the overall message here is you can't fix what you don't know. You can't fix what you don't get access to when you're not aware of these things here. Through measurement, okay, and it will give you better clarity. It will give you some prompts as to which area you need to pay some attention to before it happens. Okay, and you can do something to change that, to improve that, and we can talk more about how to do these things later. We will share with you later. But for the time being, I will hand it back to Maresa. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yoong. Mr. Yoong, we've got some questions over there. Do we want to quickly address them? If I may, before Mr. Ng, or would you like to handle it at the end?
I think that it's better that we handle it at the end, because I think that is when we present the slide, I think that is easier to explain what that is, to answer the specific question. Perfect.
Okay, so Hamizan, thank you very much for that question, and Muhammad Faiz as well. So hold on, we're gonna get to those, yeah? So thank you very much, Mr. Yoong. Everybody, can we just thank and appreciate you, Mr. Yoong, for that sharing. I think what I appreciate is that you've kept it high level without going into the details, because when you go into the details, that's where a lot of the analysis will come through. Yeah. So thank you from Mr. Chin, from Kaiman. Thank you, Jaslyn, Zul. Thank you. All right. So
thank you. Thanks everyone for your kind words. And we would try to answer some of the questions later. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We have more to come. All right. Thank you. Now, going on to the next part of today, I think this is a time a lot of people wait for, because they get a lot of very good information from many of us, from the programs and the trainings. But a lot of time we sometimes miss out the practical experience of the entrepreneur, the CEO. So today's session, the CEO's journey, business transformation through productivity measurement, I would like to introduce Mr. Ng Hee Choon. Now, Mr. Ng is the Managing Director for CLPG Packaging Industries Sendirian Berhad. So I'll let Mr. Ng share a lot more about his business very shortly. He's also a SAMENTA South Executive Committee member, and also a member of MTAC Mara Technical Advisory Committee. And also a bachelor's degree graduate back in 1993. Mr. Ng, I think, will share a lot more about his journey, but I'm actually very, very impressed because Mr. Ng's journey started long before. And so for many of you who are still thinking about getting started, not sure, I think you really need to hear today, Mr. Ng, the Managing Director of CLPG Packaging Industries, he's sharing here today. So everybody, warmly welcome Mr. Ng. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, Maresa. Good afternoon to all. So let's start. Thanks, Rahman. So let me introduce the CLPG. We are located in Bukit Minyak Industrial Park, Penang, and we are under a manufacturing category. Then the product will be on the next slide, please. So this is our location of business. Our HQ in Penang, and we have a branch in Klang Batu Lima, and we have a sales office in Johor. in Taman Johor Jaya. So this is our core products. CLPG, we are produce the plastic corrugated board. That means we are doing an extrusion process. From a resin, we extrude to a plastic sheet form, and also we convert to various boxes and others article or cater for various industry. Next, please. So this is part of the product we are converted from the raw product, raw material that is supplied to construction, agriculture, printing, advertising, and also E&E. Next, please. Laman, next, please. So back to the history. Actually, we start our milestone for measurement on the year of 2015. That time, I think we are started from a lean tour to Japan, to Nagoya, Japan, under a course TPS and also lean management. And back from then on 2016, we implement a lean Kaikaku project. That Kaikaku means reformation. And at the same year, CLPG invited to join a study group in Japan, means called ES321. That is corroborated by a professor, Kawada, and also government of Japan. So from there, CLPG start the journey to take the measurement, to submit most of our study to the group, and they will have a daily review on our performance. And for your information, the last meeting for ES321 just happened on last month, 27 and 28. So for me, myself also, I still pending for the result. See what will be happen, or what's new will be forward for me after their meeting. Next, please, Raman. So okay, so we talk about profitability. Then we almost say that when we are running a business, definitely we're looking for a profit. But for me, not just a profit, but how do we are sustainable and how we ensure that the profit is continuous to grow and not go to the negative way. So when we're with the data collection, that means the performance indicator will show you actually where you are. So CLPG, actually we got a lot of method, and also different department, we got a different method to do the data collection. But the method we are using in CLPG maybe is different with others or with yours using now. But don't worry that, because in the universal, there's no universal standard for data collecting. So over my presentation, I will share out about 5 scripts with the data collection and how can we analyze from this data after accumulate for a year or maybe a quarter on that. So first, profitability. So in a business world today, selling price mostly is determined by the market demand and supply. But with the fix of selling price, how can we, operating profit ratio same as profit? I can say yes. So with this chart, I think profit, how can we determine the profit on the business, daily business? Actually, we reduce the waste, or we study on the process. That means on these 2 activity, actually we can turn some of the waste or time to increase our productivity or increase some output. Indirectly, I think the process time cut off, then the profitability definitely will be increased also. So on my 3rd slide, I think I will show you how can we turn productivity up to 100%, but with less manpower. So next slide, please, Raman. So this is a second slide. I think someone also mentioned about sales revenue per employee. So how can we control and monitor for the sales revenue per employee? Because For me, this is very important because every year we invest a lot. We, at this moment, maybe one can say that we invest some automation, we send our staff for training, and that is the return. The return to the company is direct also on the SRPE. If your operator is trained well, I think definitely the productivity will be increased and the output of the quality of output also increased. Next please, Lama. Okay, this I will take more time to explain. This is a project. On this slide, I think I will implement a lot of concept, and most is based on lean management or what we call TPS system. So this is one of my project. We need to pack our product in 20 pieces in a pack. And at the beginning on May 2020, we need to complete 140-footer container by 7 working days. So you can imagine that how heavy is the process. So at the first stage, we go through the engineering study. We decide to use 50 pieces of packing holder plus 6 operator to start the job, and with definitely with the production line. So on this one, we are studying for a few days, and we get a conclusion that is the output contribution per person per hour is only 1,369 pieces. So during this process, we study how can we improve or increase the output. So on the first study, we found that 6 operators actually they feel some congested in the process. So we take off 1 operator, left 5% over there. But immediately we can see the difference. The output increased to 1,399. It's not big amount, only 2% plus, but it shows it's a positive growth. So after that, we found that another problem. The 50 pieces of packing holder actually is not enough, and the operator need to keep waiting the packing holder to send back to the front line. So immediately we add up another 50 packing holders. So we can see that the output increased 8% to 1,518 pieces. So after that, I can see that the output actually is not meet to our targeted output, and we go for a motion study. I mean the process flow from A to B, B to C, C to D. So after we change over the process flow, immediate we can see the differences from 1,005 increase to 1,007. So after that, the operator feedback, the table height actually is not convenient to them. So with that feedback from the operator, we dismantle everything, the process line, and we install again with the height is more convenient to them. So we achieve 2,025. That is about 48% from day one. So this is the basic of the study. But after that, the orders from customer actually keep increasing, and we try to add back the operator from 5% to 6% to 7%. And on that, we found that whatever operator we add in, actually the productivity, the output, it just dropped because of the flow is not, no need so many people, and we facing a lot of waste on waiting time. So we stick to 5%, 100 pieces of packing holder, and with the new height of the production table, production line. So with this, 2025 is still not our happy figures. And on last 2 weeks, on 1st of October, we implement automation, some automation inside the line. So we can, the next slide, I will show you the result. Naman, next slide, please. Yeah, Mr. Chiu. Okay, output increase, productivity is down. But on this way, sorry, Raman, back to the previous slide. Sorry. So over here, you can see that if intern you will need to chase for the output, you definitely can increase to 7 operator. That means you can get 1053 output. But if you want looking for a cost, definitely we need to back to 5 operator that we get more output per person per hours. So this one will back to the management decision whether you want looking for a cost or you need to looking for output. But for us, if we have a time to meet the schedule, so we will remain on 5 operator. Okay, thank you. Next. So okay, on 1st of October, we add in some automation inside the production line, and with the machine, we able to reduce 1 operator. Just on that first day, the productivity increased to 2004. So you can see that overnight we enjoy 80% plus growth for the output. And until today, until yesterday, we already achieved 3,233 pack per contribution per hour per employee. That means it's already increased 60% from day 1, 1st of October. And through our motion study on the simulator for motion study on the 8th of October, we confident we managed to achieve to 4,002. That almost 100% compared to before we implement the automation. But with this, we need to dismantle again the production table because we need to increase the height for the leveling for the conveyor belt. So the engineering department now working for it, and hopefully by end of this month we manage to achieve 4,002 or maybe 4,000 for output contribution per hour per operator. Okay, next slide, please. So this is the OEE. So as we all know, OEE we have 3 important elements. That's the machine availability, performance, and also quality. But over here, I just focus on machine availability. So you can see that on year 60 and 70, actually we are quite dangerous in the sense of process because most of our machine availability OEE is on 75 to 85%. So in this scenario, we are not afford to facing any breakdown or anything happen to the machine. So with this data, it drives us to invest another new machine. So on 2018, we bring in another machine, a new machine. So we managed to pull down the OEE to below 70%. And 2019, the revenue increased again, and we add on another one on 2020. But because of the pandemic, the result only saw by this year, 2021. So we can see that the data collecting over here, it can drive you when is the good timing for you to add machine or how you what kind of machine. I think over here I need to introduce another concept. Is from the Lean TPS also. It's called GMA concept. This GMA concept actually is show us is the how to say that is the self-sufficient. That means if you invest in a new machine, actually we no need to take the full part of the machine. Some part maybe is we can share to our existing machine, or sometimes actually we can take off and no need for that part. You also manage to get the same product, same output, same quantity. So with this concept, actually, it will reduce your cost of investment. or some of the part you eventually you can add on your own know-how or how to say that sharing and doing some local in-house amendment modified on that. But the condition is you must very sure about what you want and how are you managed to handle it. If not, you will get in the mess. So okay, next please. Okay, just now Mr. Chiu also mentioned CCC, but over here with the ESC21 group, actually they are not using CCC, they are using SCCC, supply chain cash conversion cycle. What is different SCCC and CCC? Actually in Japanese, they are more emphasized on industrial harmony. That means how many days you pay back to your supplier, they are also take in as a consideration. So if you go through my SCCC, I think everyone will be say that something happened. Yes, I agree also, something happened. Actually, we control very well on 2016 until 2018. The day of payable also, we down to 17 days to pay back to the supplier. But something happened on 2019. So I think we can start, we can get the, how to say that, we can study actually what the 2019 and 2020, the graph will show you, will show the actual scenario happen in the market. So firstly, on 2019, we started to facing the port congested, especially in China, Taiwan, Singapore, Portland. So in this, the inventory or CLPG, I take the decision to increase the inventory. And why? What support me to do so? Because firstly, on 2020, Chinese New Year will fall on January. So we can see that there's a long break from Christmas, New Year Eve, then we'll continue with Chinese New Year. So on this thing, I think most of the factory, they will increase their purchase, or some of maybe stop the production. So, but we cannot afford to facing any material shortage, the raw material shortage. So I take a decision to increase the stock level. And luckily also, I do that decision because after Chinese New Year, I can say that Wuhan pandemic happened, Wuhan become more serious, and actually there's the, how to say that, the lockdown in China, then caused all over the world, mostly the supply is shortage. And this situation extend to 2020. They mean the December of 2020. The whole year, we're still facing a shortage of container, port congested. So for 2019 until 2020, actually, for my raw material on hand, I almost keep double, maybe sometimes up to triples. So we go for the second, the trade receivable. Actually, it's also increased on 2019 and 2020. Because on 2019, actually, we gain one MNC order, one order from MNC, that's we awarded a 3 years contract. And based on that contract, we forced to keep more stock for them in the first. Second, also they are payable. The payment term is 65 days. Sorry, 60 and 75 days. Actually, we got 2 MNC order on 2019 and 2020. So from 60 days and 70 days, because these two order actually giving a lot of level, how to say, high percentage on our company sales. So will make also our receivable increase. But why? Due to a lot of custom supply. Yes, but for the case payable, the payable term, because since we already increased the purchase for our raw material, one of my overseas supplier, actually they awarded us 30 days term. So from there also, from 17 days, we up to 27.4 days. So this is the actual. So if we do have the all clear data on that, when you saw this chart, you don't be panic. Actually, you know actually what's happened. Then you still can planning. So over here, let me maybe I need to explain a bit what's different SCCC and CCC. So in this case, if based on the current situation, my CCC is about 102 days. That means in the last column, 102 days. So if I want, we are using CCC and I want to make my CCC become better, it's just overnight I can do it. I just extend my payback date to my supplier. Let's say I increase to 60 days. Immediate, my CCC will drop to 69.3 days. But in terms of SCCC, I will increase to 189.3 days. So this is the difference. Because as I mentioned before that, on the ESC21 group, especially for Japan industry, they are more looking for industrial harmony. They also take a very good care to their supplier. So this is the difference from SCCC and CCC. Okay, Raman, next. Oh, okay, let's finish my presentation. Thank you.
All right. Wow, that was really, really good. If I can, Mr. Ng, I think that was very, very detailed. And if I may, I think a few people have started texting me, alamak, tak faham. There's so much, and you know the questions that are coming through. And if I can, guys, let's have your Q&A coming through for Mr. Ng and Mr. Yoong as well. But before we go into that, right after the second poll, we are going to start asking Mr. Ng and Mr. Yoong some questions, yeah? Thank you, Derek. Yeah, thumbs up to you too. Okay. So we've heard the amazing sharing just now. We also went straight into the numbers. I think, Mr. Ng, you didn't spare us. You went straight into a lot of data. And for some of us, oh my gosh, what is operating profit? What is value added? So let's get into that. But guys, before going into that, what we would like to do now is, you've seen Mr. Yoong's session. You've seen Mr. Ng bring you into the heart of all the numbers that he has been strategizing with over the last 5 years. So it's no joke. And you've also seen that from small changes in the business, he creates output that many years later, almost as Mr. Chew Kaiman shared, almost 100% increases his output. So you've seen that. Now, we want to ask you this. What is the key support that you will need to enable better productivity, profitability in your business? Rest assured, and Rahman, if you can show the multiple choices, guys. So please click on the poll. Many of you also probably at this moment realize, oh my gosh, I must begin my lean management. I must begin my Kaizen. I must begin my productivity assessment, like what you saw Mr. Ng did and got started many years ago. So what support will you need? We're asking you the magic question. Okay. So guys, fill her up. Yes. Kaiman say, Shabas, maju and maju. CLPG, good. Very good. Bring it on, gang. Bring it on. Wow. It's a staggering lead. It's a staggering lead. And we are seeing some serious support needed here. Guys, please come. We are listening to you. Let's give it another 30 seconds. 30 to 45 seconds, gang. What support can we offer you to bring you to that extent? All right, gang, bring it on. Another 20 seconds, everybody. Another 20 seconds. Okay. All right. If we can close the polls at a staggering number 1. All right, staggering number 1. What key support will you need to enable better productivity and profitability in your business? Number 1, help on understanding the numbers, the profitability, and the productivity in the business. So thank you, at a staggering 63%. Many of us almost at this juncture know we need to start reading the numbers, but like many people that we speak to, it is very daunting. It is very daunting because it almost feels, oh my gosh, I don't know this ratio. I don't know finance. And it's almost, who is the one that know finance in my business? Is my accountant. So is this his job? Is this her job? Or is it a case, in fact, where, thank you, Mr. Neo here say, very bad with numbers, which is true. Now, that may be a question for Mr. Ng. Mr. Ng, how did you learn all these numbers? Because a lot of it is financial. Okay, so I'll leave that for you in the Q&A. Yeah? Help on understanding the numbers. At number 2, we have training and development for staff. So maybe this is also a question that, let's put it to Mr. Ng as well. How did you train your staff? And the last one, number 3, training and development for the management team. Okay, fantastic, brilliant. So guys, peel in to the end of today because we're going to help you with that. All right, so thank you so much, Rahman, for poll number 2, gang. Fantastic. Okay. So we've got a few questions for I hope you guys got questions for Mr. Yoong and Mr. Ng because I got a lot of questions. Okay, so Mr. Ng, quick question. What inspired you to get started on this journey? You know, you talked about this Kaizen Kyakaku lean management project. So this, perhaps you started all the way back in 2015, but I'm sure something inspired you. What was that, if you can share?
Yeah, actually, for a businessman, something we are get lost. We don't know where we are.
Yeah.
If we are go through our bottom line, if we are still making profit, you will feel happy. But on 2013, actually, I'm facing a revenue stagnant. On the 3 year, we don't achieve any growth of the business. So you can see that how pressure we are, because on this 3 year, the inflation, we need to take in inflation, salary adjustment, material increasing, everything. So a lot of things, I mean, the pressures keep increasing. So on year 2015, luckily, I met up with my Sifu, and also his one of the Sifu is also inside this room. So on the first meeting, we talked about how to increase the productivity. Mostly, we were asked how to increase productivity, but they are not. They say that how to reduce your waste, turn the waste to become your profit.
Right.
So if you manage to reduce your waste, that means your cost of manufacturing also can be reduced. Then you will increase your strength to enter to others market, other segment. So from there, I decided to join them to go to Japan to see by myself how the Japanese do so. So from that, I start my journey.
Wow, that is awesome, Mr. Ng. Thank you for sharing. And I really love that you said something that made such a big difference. You said sales was stagnant and that hit you. But when you went into productivity, it almost, you are not chasing just sales, you're chasing how hard your sales work for you. You're chasing the effectiveness of your revenue instead of what many people do is let's just chase revenue. So much so, I saw in your numbers just now, you could easily have gone from 5 to 6 to 7 operators and actually your output increased.
Yes.
But your change in output actually dropped, as highlighted by, I think, Kaiman just now. So when you have those very specific numbers, you can actually make way better decisions.
Yes.
And so this is, And this is my next question, Mr. Ng, because I think many of us need to hear it. What would you say from 2015 to now? You know, it's 6 years difference. Huh? What would you say has been a key leadership change, leadership shift in the way you think, your mindset for your business? Were there any changes in the way you think
Well,
now?
definitely there's a big change.
Okay.
I think most of the SME, I think just now on the first poll also, the first thing is the lack of skill, competency, and ability. But sometimes when you become a boss, you need to consider also why this guy want to join to your company. Definitely, they're looking for their career path.
Career path.
Maybe they need they got their aim to increase their income or anything. But most of the SME, sorry to say that the bosses always one-man show. You don't touch my account, you don't challenge my decision, you just follow what I'm doing.
Oh.
So people always got limitation. As I said that, why my sales stagnant for the past 3 years? I got no way to break through it. So that's why I need to ask for someone help.
Wow.
We look back into the organization or in the company also same. If I have an operation manager, I should dedicate the authority to this manager. Let them do his job. And myself, I must draw back. I need to go for planning, the business direction, company direction, or maybe you need to plan for 3 years, 5 years. Then if we have a production there, definitely they have his team. And they also need to perform. So we need to dedicate them and to educate them also, giving some training, and we can grow together.
Wow, fantastic. So many things that you said in there is the numbers, the productivity, when the numbers were clear to you, Mr. Ng, the visibility.
Yes.
You could see, because it's not just you seeing the situation in the business. When you can see it, your team can see. So prior to going into the productivity, Kaizen, lean management, before learning how to do all that, the numbers are in your head. But when you can produce the numbers, suddenly your entire team can support you to take you further. And I think this is a very important shift, Mr. Ng. So kudos that you've done it. It's very important because sometimes as business owners, we think we're alone. All the numbers, everything up in my head, all the knowledge is with me. And with our economy going even faster, the lightning speed of business growth is just only gotten faster compared to 5 years ago. Don't even look 5 years. 2 years ago, everything just became so much faster even.
Yeah.
We cannot make decisions on our own anymore. And that's something so powerful that you shared. Your team can help you with the decision making. So the visibility brought the transparency, but it also brought you have less burden on your shoulders alone, but you share that with your management group.
Yes. As today, I think my GM know better the customer than me.
Well, that's amazing, Mr. Ng. If we know everything and we're better than everyone else in the business, habis, we'll be stuck there forever, right? That is very powerful. Very powerful.
Oh, but to implement a new system, like to implement a lean, a TPS, definitely the key man must be the boss.
Yes.
When you set up your mind, I want to go for this, then just go for it.
Yes. And I think you're so right, because in my experience of dealing with businesses, sometimes it's the accountant's job. It's my CFO job. Actually, it is the business owner's leadership to drive that transformation.
Yes.
That is very important. It's not like somebody else's job. And then it needs to be taken on personally by the leader. That's what I've seen you do, Mr. Ng. When you talk about your story, it just motivates and inspires me. Wow. For how many of you, you've got questions for Mr. Ng? Can you please bring it on? How many of you learned a lot from Mr. Ng's sharing just now about CLPG's journey? Say, yeah, if you had. Wow. Let me hear from you. All right. And if you've got questions, please this is the time to ask Mr. Ng and also Mr. Yoong. Oh, that's it, Lawrence.
Martin also there.
Yeah. Wow. Mind-blowing. Mind-blowing because I think a lot of time. Let me ask you this question. I'll ask on behalf of everybody, yeah? Okay. Mr. Ng, some of the things that you shared just now is very financial. Did you have to learn about the financials in your business? Did you have to learn it? Or you knew all this along? So how did you learn this capability to read the numbers?
Actually, I'm not from accountancy study, and from day to day, after you join in their discussion, and maybe sometime you were looking for the account department. Hey, I need some fund. Then it will force you to drive you to know more, to understand more what is the figure showing there.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that I'm an expert in the account, but at least we can know what is the direction and how far can we go.
Yeah, which means you had to learn it, lah.
Yes.
You had to learn it, because I think that is the biggest fear factor for a lot of business owners, is that they don't want to learn it. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I would love to hear from all of you. Sometimes we look at financial and accounts and we get fearful, or we get anxious about it, because it's something that maybe bankers, accountants, Ricky here, as an owner, we should not be embarrassed to seek advice from people we trust. Yes, the captain of the industry or mentor. Thank you, Ricky. Yes, we are afraid to learn the numbers, so much so a lot of people have opened up to me and say there's a phobia to the financials, the finances. So this is something that you cannot avoid. Yeah, very, very powerful. Any more questions, guys? Wow, very, very good. More questions for Mr. Ng. Anybody? I see some Q&A. Give me a second. Mr. Chiu, what are the challenges faced during the transformation process? What was your main challenge, Mr. Ng?
I think I still remember when we are started our Lean Kagaku project. My operator do challenge back the consultant. Why should us follow yours? I think ours method is faster than yours.
Oh.
So when facing this situation, then we need to make the small competition. We break the order to become two groups, and one with their own method, one with the new method proposed by the consultant, and we see who's the winner.
Oh, that's awesome. So you created a little competition.
When something, there is something used for it, I think it's difficult for them to make a change in a short time. So that is the main point, is we need to show them the evidence.
Evidence.
My method is better than yours. So please follow my method.
That's fantastic. That's so powerful, because if they have been doing that for many years, now somebody outside come along and say, hey, you should do it this way. They go, what? So you needed to start with a small change. You needed to test first and then show them. That's very good. So what did you do to train your staff? So Mr. Ng, because I saw just now the challenges. We talked about financials and the numbers. Staff training. What did you do in that aspect for everybody to understand also?
Actually, I'm not put so much effort on this section, because everything we have our, how to say that, our yearly business planning and what is our target and what's our KPI. So we will set up all the KPI and our mission, our direction. Then we'll let the section head, department head, go to execute for it. So if they need any training or any assistance, we were looking for the suitable candidate or suitable trainer to help for them. Because my skill was so limited. I cannot cater everything.
Good. So you needed the external trainers to come in.
Yes.
Absolutely. Fantastic. I love that. Fadli asked, Mr. Ng, can you repeat your explanation again on repurposing the machine to lower your investment on new machine?
Okay, actually, I take my own example. I think more clear. Okay, we're doing a plastic extrusion. The machine total length is about 28 meters. So when you purchase a new machine from the manufacturers, they will add in this A, B, C, D, E, F, everything they add in. But this is not your first machine. Like say that maybe some of the part we can share among the production line. So over here, we'll cut out this unit. I say I no need for this unit. So on that, maybe if let's say the machine is 2 million, maybe you can cut cost about 200 or 300,000. So this is part of that the GMA, and we need to go for, you need to know better with your process flow. Which step can you skip and which step are not must have there?
Fantastic. So it's almost, Mr. Ng, thank you, Fadli. I think that's a very good question, but I hope it was answered. Yeah, we almost just can't go and invest in something just lock, stock, and barrel. We need to break down the process and see what we need, what needs to be replaced, so that we don't overspend. Yeah. So that's actually very, very powerful. Thank you so much, Mr. Ng. Chiu Kwang says, Mr. Ng, as far as we understood of financial staff character and habit, it's almost impossible to get them to ride along with the gearing platoon of lean and TPS. So what did you do to marching them on in the organization's direction? Mr. Ng.
Wow.
Wow.
How to answer for this?
Yeah. I think
okay,
you shared a bit just now.
For my case, I think for the training, for the TPS training, and after we join in the ESE21, actually the trainer from Japan, the Professor Kawada, actually he's looking for a SCCC. So he will give a long list how to get this number correct. And definitely when I receive this kind of chart, I will throw to my account department. You need to figure out for me. I don't know how to do it. So with that, I think he also do communicate with the consultant, with the Professor Kawada and their team. So on that, I think definitely they will change their mind if they see any improvement. So we need, as a leader, you must make sure that every move you do must bring some benefit or some improvement. Then you just may need to draw the attention to follow them. So I don't know whether this answers your question.
I think this is a very good, yes, very, very good response. I think few things I'm taking away is that you are involving your staff. You involve them in the process, and there's benefit to making their jobs better. Yeah. So another very good question coming. I think the questions are warming up. Chiu Kai Man. So you involve your financial staff in the process, Mr. Ng, to understand the purpose of TPS?
Yeah, always.
So involve them, huh?
Always. Because on our monthly meeting, it needs to present it to us what is the wastage we generated on the month, and the SCCC also will review in quarterly. So she's the one need to present on the money management meeting.
Yeah.
So he got no way to run. He need to attend.
You need to attend. and I think, Mr. Ng, that's one of the biggest problems a lot of business owners, at least with the traditional mindset, the financial, everything all keep. And if anything, the financial, sometimes it's maybe someone that they trust, a brother or a sister. So they keep it so much that when it's not transparent, a lot of and for fear of being too transparent is that they might create competition. Yeah. Okay. But that's a whole other workshop. But if the numbers are not transparent, then the team cannot support. Simple as that. Yeah. Ricky Su, Mr. Ng, on average, how long your staff been working for you, and how do you maintain loyalty? Okay.
Okay. Another topic, I think.
That one is another webinar, Ricky.
Okay, Ricky. Actually, I think the longest service staff in my company, almost 18 years. He's from a marketing executive and become today Deputy General Manager.
Wow.
So how can I let them feel comfortable and stay loyal to the company? It's simple. We need to change a position to think why a person come up to find a job.
Yeah.
Company looking for sustainability, personal also the same. Okay. So I think as a boss, we need to share. We need to share. And also others benefit also. We sometimes we not to QD too many. For my practice, any claim for marketing, I never check. I just put on my signature, go to pass. Because definitely when they have a reason to spend. So if they spend that bill maybe for the company and we need to QD why you spend this amount, why you go to this place, why you go for this restaurant, cannot go to hawker. So I think to make the staff become more frustrated on your QD.
Right. The query.
And always take them as a family member. For me, I always do so.
Right.
Sometimes as the bosses, you need to close half of your eyes.
Well, half an eye, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's and I think you can do that. You can exercise this flexibility, Mr. Ng, because you have numbers that hold them accountable.
Yes.
If you don't have these numbers, I believe you couldn't. And that's why a lot of businesses struggle with going virtual, the remote working, everybody work from home, they struggle because no way to measure, and then they cannot trust the staff. But you can practice that flexibility because you actually have the measurements.
Yes, I think during the MCO also, I think on the second MCO, we are just allowed to work for 60%. And we let all the quota to the production. Most of the office staff work from home. So nowadays social media is so strong. We just communicate through WhatsApp, Line, or WeChat. So the reporting is already there. They will report by hourly or by after the job order is completed. Then the planner will know what should do next.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think Ricky, I hope that answers your question, because that is a very big element that a lot of us as business owners find it hard to let go. Yes, Ricky, your trust to your personnel is excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, oh my gosh. Okay, guys. Please, you can keep in touch with Mr. Ng. Mr. Ng, if you're on LinkedIn or your Facebook page, please, by all means,
anything, I think maybe can I
please.
My email?
Yeah, sure. You be careful, you put your email down, oh.
Because I do have a, how to say that, a target to my team. We want to turn CLPG to become a showroom factory.
Awesome.
We anytime welcome a visitor.
Oh wow!
Because we always receive a student for visit. That's why I was invited to become a MATC member.
Beautiful.
We are working together with Mala. So I think every year they will send a student over here, USM,
yes.
UITM. That's a lot.
Perfect. So if you would, yes, thank you guys. That is Mr. Ng's email address. Thank you. Perhaps we need to make a trip so that you can do a tour for us, because we've got so many questions. I would love it. Everybody, can you please join me and appreciate Mr. Ng today for his really powerful sharing? Oh my gosh. I think all of us took away so much. In fact, I think there are just more questions. Thank you, Mr. Ng. Chiu Kwang, awesome. From Kaiman, also very awesome. So if I can, let us round up today. Nicole Ng says thank you as well. Datin Lorella, great session. Yes, absolutely. I would echo that entirely. So Mr. Ng, thank you very much.
Okay.
I would like to bring you guys to the next segment. As usual, for us at SAMENTA, MPC, MEPN, and MEIF, we want to do more sessions like these. So please leave us your feedback. Yeah, we want to hear from you. What more do you want to learn of and learn from? Please type in, so the feedback link will be shared by Rahman in the back end. So please click on it, or if you miss it, we will send you an email and then you can complete the feedback, please. Yeah, we want to hear from the industry and what more support that we can give you. For those of you who want your e-certificate, please direct your email to Mr. Abdul Rahman Khamis, arahman@mpc.gov.my, and you will be able to get your e-certificate from today's session as well. All right, next page, please. If I can, we're just going to finish up with a bit of an announcement, and do stay till the end because we're just going to make a quick, give you a bit more information for you to leverage, yeah, to put your business in a better position. I want to invite Mr. Yoong Kee Sin to come back to talk to us about MEVAC, Machinery and Equipment, Virtual Advisory Clinic. So for those of you just now who were not sure what the numbers meant, and you're not sure if you get the numbers, also you don't know who to read it with, all right? And you need experts to do that with you. So Mr. Yoong, if I can invite you to share this program.
Thank you very much, Marisa. I think that, thank you, Mr. Ng, for sharing an excellent session with us. I think that I'll try to answer some of the questions that came up, as well. And that is how to get started and how do you demystify some of this type of a financial, information. And this is actually very important. Okay. In response to the pandemic, and as well as some of the feedback that we got from the industry, through the MEPN and MPC, we actually form a platform called the Machinery and Equipment Virtual Advisory Clinic. Now, this is open for all Malaysian enterprises, and you see the details. You can get in touch, you can register for this clinic. What this clinic involves an hour and a half clinic with industry specialists, advisors, where we can talk about areas that of interest or of concern within your business, so that we can understand some of the pain that you that you are experiencing. In fact, earlier on, in the session, during the poll, we've got feedback. For example, we are too busy dealing with operational problem. Another way of putting that is that we actually have to attend to problem as it crop up. In a way, it's called firefighting. If you spend too much time doing firefighting, it already means that you know how to solve problems when they crop up. But what we do through this measurement and visibility, as you have seen very well from Mr. Ng's presentation, is that it actually gives you some advance notice so that at least you know where to go for. Now, these sort of things can be brought up during this MEVAC clinic as well. What we try to do is to understand a bit of what is your concern, whether it is actually, business development, whether the challenges is actually your staff, whether it's a lack of, staff or lack of knowledge, lack of financial knowledge, and so on and so forth. During that clinic, it will actually bring up the, basically it's a dialogue, where we actually would draw up register some of these sort of concern. And then what we'll do is we will request from the company to provide us with something that you already process. All companies that are registered already have this, which is, your financial record of the company, whether it is audited account and so on and so forth. And through that, what we can do is, as you can see, all you need to do is actually provide the information in the form of that particular table that you see that is marked in the sort of light blue. And just now I understand some of the question is that what about what is operating profit? What is actually, some of the detail. All this information are already available from your financial report. And what we'll do is with this, we actually compile a productivity report. And after we've done the report, we share this with you. And then we will hold another online session to go through the report and try to explain how these various factors were measured and what it means to your company, what trend, what has been the performance trend, and which area that you like to prioritize for us to tackle, and which avenue can you actually access, whether it's through government agency or through external help, to get started with your journey, including Lean, including Kaizen and all this, so that we can actually link you up with the respective parties that can help you with these things here. Some of these you can get some assistance. Some of these may not get, may involve some small payment depending on the nature of the business. So that is actually MEIF. And we actually would very much encourage, anyone who is interested to come aboard and get started through this particular journey. That actually represents a way for you to get started with the journey towards, measuring productivity, and use this information to help you to improve your business, which eventually leads to better profit. But not only profit, as Mr. Ng has also shared with us earlier on, it would lead to a more motivated staff and staff force. And if they feel that, they are part of the family, they feel that they're making progress, the chances of retention and their motivation become, it starts a virtuous cycle instead of a vicious cycle in terms of the people. I think that that's very important. And so to get out from, this rat race where you are actually putting out fire all the time, what happened is with some of these type of things that we shared, the approach that we shared, I think that you get a sort of a starting point, it will lead you to the start of a journey towards improvement. And the result is that you improve the productivity and the profitability and also the satisfaction, not only your staff, your customer as well. So I think that, we like to encourage you to come on board. And a lot of the time we get the question, oh, if I share the financial with you, will you share this with somebody else? All financial information that is shared through this particular avenue is actually subjected to a non-disclosure agreement, between the MPC. MPC will actually make sure that we actually have a non-disclosure. All the advisors will actually have to honor a non-disclosure agreement, meaning that your information is kept confidential. And you only share with you, and you will only be shared with somebody else if you specifically request it to be shared, not otherwise. We have no right to use the information otherwise. Okay. Excellent. So I do encourage that, MEIF would be a sort of a way of starting, your journey towards getting this measurement and to improve your business.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Yoong. Myself and Mr. Yoong, we are on MEIF because we are dedicated advisors to take on many of you who want to understand the numbers. And if I can, I think this is one of the most powerful programs to begin with, because as Mr. Yoong and you've seen Mr. Ng, a lot of people look at productivity as something daunting. They look at it with, I've got to spend a lot of money in digital or technological infrastructure. But actually, if that is what is holding you back, we want to say this. All of the resources that you need to be immediately productive is already in your books. What you need is for experts like us to be able to read them with you and to start pointing you in direction where your business roadmap becomes clearer based on information that you already have in your financials. So if any of you are daunted with the finance, I don't know what to do, or there's so much investment, fear not, all of this is already with you and it's absolutely FOC. Yeah, I mean, well, for now. So we want to encourage you during this period of time when we are trying to be so sustainable as SMEs. The market is opening. Many of us are scurrying to recover and go out and get sales. Remember, you don't want to just work hard for money. You want to make sure that the money works hard for you. Does that make sense? And that is a conversation in productivity. Okay, with that, last message, everybody. I just want to encourage most of you that are here, my friends, and those of you who have been very participative. Most of you here are from SAMENTA and maybe from different facets of the association connected with MPC, Malaysia Productivity Corporation. But just as a last bit, we want to invite you. We are a serious association, SAMENTA Small and Medium Enterprises Association. We are one of the oldest associations for SMEs in Malaysia. Now, we want to encourage you to join us for many reasons. Yeah, I think if I can, our members by sector, we started off in the north and we're very, very active in central, as you can see. Yeah, and plenty of metalworking, machinery, engineering, manufacturing companies as our members. So those of you who are here, you are in that sector or not, please, by all means, do come and join us, and I'll share with you very shortly how you do that. A lot of what we do in SAMENTA has been very virtual. That's why we're on webinars. But as the market opens up, we are bringing a lot of physical B2B business matching programs and events as well. Yeah, we recently met with the ambassadors for South Africa. We had a business matching with Korea, just to name a few. And we continue our dialogue with the government, not just MPC, but MDEC, SME Corp, and along with Bank Negara, to name a few. There are so many conversations going on at any given time. So if you want to be a part of that, you want your voice to be heard, then by all means, join us at SAMENTA. This is a program that we're very, very proud of. SAMENTA works very closely with MPC. We encourage all of our SMEs to be as sustainable as possible, to understand their business and to raise competitiveness. And it's not just revenues, but cost, right? So to raise their competitiveness, because eventually, for us at SAMENTA, we encourage a lot of our SMEs to go overseas, yeah? And that's why we connect with so many trade partners all over the world, because to go export, yeah? And there are so many ways. Another program that we also work with is the Digital Productivity Nexus, where we are also in the spirit of sustainability, encouraging more and more SMEs to digitalize. And we had a very brief but powerful conversation today about going digital in parts, along with productivity. So this is very, very important as well. We also run programs like these. For the F&B retail, some of you may be in retail, we ran a program where we put together F&B operators inside a 5-day training to manage cost effectiveness. So for the F&B retail operators, cost management is very different from manufacturing, but we also rolled that out. So as you can see, guys, we've been pretty busy, all right? So for those of you who are interested, do look into joining a community that is serious about sustainability, not just to survive what the pandemic is going to offer us. As you can see, many business owners, entrepreneurs that we encourage to come onto this platform, they have done something good, and we are encouraging them to share. So much so, Mr. Ng is so happy to invite all of you as a site visit to his site, his factory. And if you want to be a part of that, we do that for our SAMENTA members. It's part of our networking where we encourage each to share. So if I can, 150 ringgit per year per annum, where we waive the entrance fee until 31st December 2021. We are one of the cheapest memberships in the country. I really don't mind saying that, because, you know, very frankly, everybody, a lot of SMEs are taking a hit entrepreneurs, you run a business, whether you got 2 people working for you or 2,000 people working for you, it is challenging, which is why we are maintaining our rates at this juncture. But at 150 ringgit, we have delivered way more programs and values. Many of you have seen us. We're very vocal. We are representing the industry. We are the SME voice, as you have seen, and we take a very active stance to supporting your growth in whatever way. So if I can call upon you to join us, we are your economic frontliners. All it will take for you to do that, guys, is you look at email at the bottom, central@samenta.org.my. Just say, I want to be a SAMENTA member. And we will email you right back and you will lock in your membership. And many people have said they want to do it for 5 years out. So if you want to lock in this low membership rate, by all means, we encourage you so that we can continue to support you nevertheless. All right, so hang on, I've got a very awesome question here. Can we make a group short screen among the speakers? Maresa and Encik Rahman from WK Tan. Okay. To take a photo, is it? Screenshot. Okay. Yes, we can. We can do that. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, if any of you are interested to join us, please just email us, short one-liner, and we will come back to you right away. And so the last slide, please, Rahman. And that's the end of today. We truly hope that you enjoy today's session very, very much. I think it takes us a lot of energy and effort to look for very, very good speakers. And as you have seen today, Mr. Yoong is a very experienced and insightful speaker. And we hope that you will register for MEVAC to get your initial productivity assessment dialogue going. I am one of the MEVAC advisors as well. And as you have seen, we've also introduced Mr. Ng, whom we are very excited to continue conversations with his own journey that he started 5 to 6 years earlier than many of you, and he's ready to share. So if I can, thank you very much for being here today. We're very, very happy that you stayed until the end, many of you, and look forward to more programs and events coming up. Yes, thank you very much, everybody. We look forward to having you again.